Purchase your tracks today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Jay and Will Show. I'm Jay.
I'm Will.
And we're getting into these week 8 predictions, ladies and gentlemen. Just a quick programming note for you guys. Obviously, with the Cowboys being on the bye, we don't have a recap this week, but next week will be kind of more back on the normal schedule. So you'll see a recap from us, recapping the game that they will be playing on Sunday night against the Minnesota Vikings. And then, of course, next week you'll also see a version of this in week 9 predictions. But today, the name of the game is week 8 predictions. Before we get started, I just got some breaking news, hot off the presses, fresh off the wire.
Put myself on mute real quick.
Fresh off the wire right here. I think this is the first time in Jay and Will history that I can say this, but your boy is sitting on a somewhat comfortable lead in predictions. So tallying up from week 1 to week 7, the correct picks are as follows. I have 75. Will has 71.
Crazy.
Look, it's only 4, but if y'all were watching last year, you know your boy was on the struggle bus. Not by a lot, but by enough to not be, I was on the short end of the stick, and I was on a little small podium, and Will was on the big podium getting that, so and I don't know if we discussed it on here, but I did pay my punishment. I watched the Star Wars movie. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I had a lot of questions because I have no idea who these people are. But all in all, without even knowing too much about it, wasn't a bad movie, man. I can't hate on it. I would be able to do it again. Yeah, I would be able to do it again if I had to, if it's the right one. So
see, I know you.
You being the guru that you are, and you've known me for as long as you know me, I appreciate you putting all that stuff into account with giving me the correct assignment. So I did finish it, and I can say that, even though it was deemed a punishment, wasn't that bad. Wasn't that bad of a movie. So I'll give them credit for that one. You got one, Lucasfilms. You got one. All right, man. So let's go ahead and get into these week 8 predictions, man. So due to the time of recording, we won't discuss the Thursday night game because by the time you guys see this, you will have already seen it. So we will, lots of injuries as well. COVID also as well has kind of hit the Packers receiving core. So we'll see how that one shakes out. But based on that, I'm pretty sure we'll see Cardinals going up to 8-0 in that one, but who knows? We'll start with the Sunday games. First one is going to be the 5-2 Cincinnati Bengals visiting the 1-5 New York Jets. I believe we're in agreement on this one. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time. Joey B and the Bengals getting it done, moving to an impressive 6-2 on the season, beating the Jets.
Number 1 in the conference.
Woo, number 1 in the conference, man. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? Back when Jamar Chase dropping balls in the preseason, all of a sudden he's got he's running away with offensive rookie of the year. It's amazing. The next game, 5-2 Tennessee Titans visiting the 3-4 Indianapolis Colts. I'll let you kick us off with this one. How you see this one shaking out?
I got Tennessee in this one. The way that Derrick Henry been running, been something, especially in the last couple of games. Tennessee has beaten Buffalo, beaten Kansas City, trying to solidify their spot in the conference, and before you can solidify yourself in the conference, you got to win your division. So this is another step for them, winning their division, beating Indiana. Oh, it's Indiana.
I passed it to you. I passed it to you. I'm picking the Titans in this one as well. I do think it'll be a close game with it being a divisional game. If there is a defense that could potentially slow down, not stop, but slow down Derrick Henry, I think it could be this Colts defense. So I think there's a chance there. The Colts have been playing relatively well recently. They kind of seem to have caught their stride a little bit. they're still 3-4, so they got a long way to go. I do think that if they want a chance to compete in the division, they need to win this game so they can go to 4-4, have the Titans be 5-3. But I just feel like at this point, Derrick Henry's a freight train, man, and it's hard to stop him at this point. So, although it's a road game for those guys, obviously that'll be a tough division game. So, like I said before, I think it'll be close. But ultimately, I do think that Tennessee comes out on top of it. So we agree on that one. Next game, not spending time on it, 6-1. LA Rams visiting the 1-6 Houston Texans. Just hope they keep it within like 48. I don't know what the spread is, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be over. So we both agree. I think that we'll take the Rams in that one. So Cowboys gotta make sure they keep pace because then the Rams will be 7-1. Next game, fun game, I think, only because both teams are hurt.
14.5.
14.5. Oh my God. I'm putting something on that probably.
Right.
The 3-3 Steelers visiting the 4-3 Cleveland Browns. Another division game. I'm not sure at this point, at the time of recording, whether or not Baker's been cleared to play. I know he's been discussing the potential of it, but I don't know if he's actually been cleared. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out there. But if I'm being honest, I don't think it's going to matter in this game. I think that the Steelers are trying to find their footing a little bit, but I think that the way they kind of game planned, Case Keenum last week, to not depend on him and to lean in the run game, I think that's how they're able to win this game, particularly being at home. I like their chances in this one. The Pittsburgh Steelers they are who they are. I say that, and they could dominate this game because it's it's up in the air with the big division game, and obviously the Browns would love to have Baker if he's available, but I don't think it's in the world if Case Keenum is their quarterback. So I'm going to pick Cleveland in this one, just because I feel like they're the better team at this point, even with the potential of Baker being out. So I'm gonna give the edge to them being at home. So how you feel about that one?
I think Cleveland wins it as well. Talented team. No matter who's quarterback, they have a better quarterback than Pittsburgh. Both defenses are pretty good. Talent across the field on both defenses. I think Cleveland just has enough playmakers to be able to pull this one out. So yeah, I got Cleveland in this one.
Next game is the 2-5 Philadelphia Eagles visiting the 0-7 Detroit Lions. We talk about a little bit of pre-production, bro. I'm going with the Lions in this one. I just feel like they're due for a win. Because the thing about them is they've lost all their games, but they've been in every game. They haven't been blown out in these games. And they've had a tough schedule. Like, their schedule's been brutal. And for them to at least hang around, in those games, I think says enough about their potential in these games. And if we're being honest, Philly's not a good football team. And so I think if their potential for them to win a game, it's here. They lost to the Packers, they lost to the Ravens, they lost to the Vikings, they lost to Cincinnati, they lost to the Rams. So these are all really good teams that they're playing and losing. So I think the thing is, having the opportunity to play a team that's not as good as that, there's potential there. And, we talked about before the bad luck they had losing to Baltimore with that, NFL record field goal. I mean, they hang around with these teams. And so I think with Philly, there's so much going on there. They're just kind of, to me, they're kind of spinning out of control a little bit. And so I think there is opportunity there. And so I'm going upset special with this. I'm going to pick the Lions. How you feel about it?
I was ready to pick Philly until you went through Detroit's schedule. Like, just looking at the schedule, the only team that they lost to they lost to two teams that are below 500 at this point. Chicago and San Francisco. And I think that was like a healthy San Francisco at the time too. It was like, oh, okay. So yeah, you changed me. So yeah, I'm going to Detroit with this one as well. I think both teams going to start off pretty quickly. That's what they did. That's what they've been able to do over the past couple of weeks. Start off pretty quickly, and then it just dies down. So I think Detroit will being at home, they'll
Yeah.
be able to maintain it a little bit better. And Philadelphia not being as good, I think this will have help Detroit get their first win of the season.
Yeah, I just think I do, man. I mean, like that like I remember that 0-16 Detroit team. This team ain't that team. Like they have talent on this team.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, I just think it's been a buzzsaw on the schedule, and
Yeah, it's insane.
new coaching staff, new quarterback. It's a lot to get accustomed to, and to have that schedule to do it with, it's tough. So I think they do, man. I think they're doing this one. So we'll see how it goes. And I mean, who in this Zoom would be upset about the Eagles losing the game?
Exactly.
If anybody's upset, raise your hand now and get kicked out. All right, great. Exactly. Next game, I have the 2-4 San Francisco 49ers visiting the 3-4 Chicago Bears. How you got that one shaking out, Will?
I got Chicago in this one being a home game. I don't think, especially after how bad Justin played last week against Tampa, it's understandable with that good defense. I think he'll be able to bounce back and put together a good game and get them back to 500.
Man, we gotta pick the team at some point. I pick Chicago as well, just because San Francisco look, the Colts are good, or the Colts are okay. The Colts are okay. And the way they looked against San Francisco last Sunday night was like, okay, like San Francisco really may not be that good. And I know Trey Lance has been hurt. I'm not sure if he's going to be cleared to play in this game, but I think at some point they got to visit that transition. And I think this will be one more game to look at as a reason why. So I'm going to pick the Bears. And I think if the Bears win this game with the rookie quarterback, San Francisco has to look at themselves and be like, okay, we just lost to a rookie quarterback, and we got one in our right pocket. We're not using them. They are, but it's sort of packages and stuff like that, goal line stuff, but just like, why are you, whatever. So I think this could be one of those games that like a catalyst for us in making that transition. So I'm going to pick the Bears in this one as well. The next game, 3-4 Carolina Panthers visiting the 3-3 Atlanta Falcons. They both stink.
Yeah.
As everybody knows,
I think we're about to choose the same team again.
Probably. I think as everybody knows, Carolina started off 3-0. They're now 3-4. So they lost 4 games in a row.
That was broken.
Yeah, that was broken, exactly. Falcons just came off of a win against Miami, which it's Miami. I'm gonna go. God dog it. I'm gonna go what I said originally. I'm gonna go Carolina in this one. I'm gonna go Carolina in this one with very little faith and confidence in it. But I just look at as bad as they've looked. I don't think they're as bad as Miami. And Miami almost beat the Falcons. And I know this is a week-to-week league, so for me using prior week's games is probably a bad, method of trying to piece this puzzle together. Yeah. But I just feel like the Falcons aren't that good. Neither are the Panthers, though. It's a divisional game, so it'll be close because they both stink. But I do think that there's potential there for Carolina to sneak one out of Atlanta. So with about zero confidence in this pick, I'm going to go with Carolina to win this game. What about you?
Carolina does have talent on their defense. It's just it wasn't as good as I didn't think it was as good as people were trying to hype it up to be.
Yeah.
Also, you can only play who's on your schedule in a way.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with Atlanta. We got to pick someone different, and I feel like Atlanta being home, both of these teams. I think for this Sunday, Atlanta will stick less in Carolina.
Man, I mean,
That's my professional.
yeah, it's like, man, that's a student analysis right there, boy. All right. Next game on the schedule. I'm not gonna waste a whole lot of time on it. Speaking of the Dolphins, we have the 1-6 Miami Dolphins visiting 4-2 Buffalo Bills. Buffalo there should be breaks all over the field in Orchard Park, New York. I'm going with Buffalo in this one. I'm assuming you feel the same way.
Yeah. What do you think the over/under is?
Ooh, good question. I think you said the last game is 14, so I'm gonna say
It was 14.5.
14. Okay, so I'm gonna say this one. I'm gonna say 16 and a half.
14. Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Over.
I think the way that Tennessee made Buffalo look down the stretch is what brought that down.
Yeah, but Miami and Tennessee though.
No, I know.
Maybe so. Yeah, but maybe you're right. They made them look human. Human. Dang, 14 is surprising though. I would expect that to be. I wonder if the weather. What's winter? It will be Halloween, so it shouldn't be like snowy.
It can be wild just yet.
Interesting. I might have to look into that one a little bit deeper.
Yeah, especially 50 90.
But this is Buffalo. I used to that. So.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I thought it would be more than that.
Yeah.
All right. Next game. 3-4 New England Patriots visiting the 4-2 Los Angeles Chargers. I'm picking the Chargers in this one. For personal reasons, I need them to do well. And maybe talk about our matchup this week. But also, like, I just felt they're a better team. And obviously, New England has hung around with a lot of good teams. So the potential is always obviously there for upset. But
yeah,
I think the Chargers got to win this one to keep up with the Raiders in that division. And that sounds so weird, but I think they got to. I think this is one of those. I won't say must win, but it'd be good to have this one for sure. So I'm gonna pick the Chargers in this one. What you got?
Like Brian Browder says, you only got 17 of these, so every week is a must win. I'm going with New England. They played Dallas really well. They played Tampa really well, and they beat the Braves.
Oh my God! R.I.P. to the Jets.
Yeah, they beat the Braves off them dudes last week. So I think that they're going to be ready to play, and I think they'll because that defense was better than what I expected. Like I already knew that they would. Because Dallas could have did more, but you also got to look at New England forced a lot of those problems as well. Even without the heavy pressure, it was just them being able to be in position to force a lot of those issues. Even without the ref, like they still forced issues. So I got New England in this one. I think it's going to be crazy.
And we talked about before the season started how when New England has so many guys out because of COVID last year on the defensive end, that getting them back, they would like they got a whole bunch of free agents almost with getting those guys back. So, and this is all without even having Stephon Gilmore there anymore. So, they're legit. They're legit. So it's certainly I say upset special, but it's not like a huge discrepancy there. So it's definitely within their own possibility for sure. What would have looked like a game that would not be an own possibility for the road team to win, but now the way things are going, who knows? 1-5 Jacksonville Jaguars going up against a 2-5 Seattle Seahawks in this one. This one, when the schedule came out, you could write in the W and go on about your day, particularly with it being in Seattle. Like, that's a lock. But obviously, as we know, Russell Wilson's out due to a broken finger, and Geno Smith is not. Geno Smith has played like Geno Smith, if we're being honest. So that and their defense not being great, obviously, it's suspect. So it is Jacksonville, so who knows? But coming off a win, they had a bye last week, so that potential for momentum is certainly there. How do you feel about this one?
I think Seattle will get this one. I just not ready to trust Jacksonville winning. It was already tough for them to get one win. For them to get back to back is going to be crazy. So I'm just going to sit with Seattle on this one. We'll see.
I'm going Jacksonville, man. I'm going Jacksonville. I'm going Jacksonville. I just far be it for me to pick a team with 2 games in a row after they lost 20 straight.
Yeah.
But I because when I thought about this game, I was like, okay, well, it's in Seattle, 12 man, you got the rookie quarterback, how's it gonna function? But I'm like, this dude played at Clemson, like he's used to raucous environments, like he's been there, so I'm not saying that I've never been in Lumen Field in Seattle, so I'm not saying that it's close. I mean, I'm not saying it's not louder, but I'm sure it's in the vicinity of Death Valley and all those places that he had to go play, while he was there for Clemson. So he's not afraid of those environments. So I look at him. I mean, if all things are even at this particular point in time, would you rather have him or Geno Smith as your quarterback?
Oh, absolutely, Trevor.
So I think there's that dynamic of it too, and coupled with the fact that Seattle's defense is not what they used to be. I think there's potential there for that to happen. But again, far be it for me to pick a team to win 2 games in a row after they'd lost 20 straight. But I got this gut feeling. This one I kind of feel like it's similar to the way I felt about the Bengals beating Green Bay. They didn't, but they got really close. I feel like similar vibes in this one. So I'm going to go with Jacksonville. But again, this is one of those ones where I'm like, if they'd lose, I'll be like, of course they lost to Jacksonville. But I think it's possible. I definitely think it's possible. So I'm going to go with Jacksonville.
I think Seattle going to win it to keep their fans from jumping off the bridge.
Rioting? Yeah. For real, though. So, yeah, good luck. Next game, the 2-5 Washington football team visiting the 3-4 Denver Broncos. I had a hard time with this one. I'm not even going to lie. Just two teams that are very inconsistent. I know that Von Miller got hurt last week. I'm not sure what his status is. I believe he's out. But, man, I'm going Washington. I like Taylor Heineke, man. I ain't gonna lie. And I hate to say this because they are in our division, but he just got something. He's not a very good quarterback. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they should give him an extension or anything like that. But I do think he's one of those dudes that would be a really good backup. Like if you got, like, for example, if he was here, I'd be totally fine with him playing against Minnesota if they said Dak can't play. Just like a spot start here and there. I would be comfortable with having him. Not as my franchise quarterback, not as my starter, but as a backup, I would like him a lot. So I like him in general. Denver is a tough place to play. We just got to talking about Seattle. Denver's similar, not the same, but there's some similarities there. And that defense is obviously good as well. But they got some injuries they're dealing with as well. So they're not at full strength on the defensive end either. Tay two gloves has just not been great. I'm picking Washington in this one. Again, not 100% certain in this one because I feel like both these teams are just not consistent enough for me to be solid in either team to pick. But I'm gonna go with Washington in this one. How about you?
I'm going Denver. I think Teddy Two Gloves kind of throw it all over the field on Washington's defense. I think they have given up the most points so far this season. Very close to it. That's
probably right.
It's been bad. So yeah, I think Denver's going to win at home, and then going up against a bad defense. They're going to pull this one out.
Okay. Next game, 6-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers visiting the 4-2 New Orleans Saints. Jameis Winston getting the first opportunity to play against his old team as a starter. Tampa Bay, right? Like Tampa Bay's. We both agree on that.
Yeah,
I think Tampa Bay wins. It could be close. It could be
fun with Mark Ingram back.
That is also true. Who they say will be playing in this game, so that should be fun. But yeah, no, I Tampa Bay's winning this game, man.
Yeah.
All right.
It would be nice if New Orleans could pull it out, though.
That would be awesome. Listen, I don't think I've ever said this before, but I'm rooting for New Orleans in the game to win for sure.
Yeah.
Because that would be huge for at least for seeding purposes. Sunday night game. Dallas Cowboys at 5-1, visiting 3-3 Minnesota Vikings. I think this will be a close game. Obviously, a lot of weird stuff going on. I don't say weird, but stuff going on the home front as far as the Cowboys are concerned. Obviously, we know about Dak's calf strain and whether or not he'll be available at the time of recording is still in question. Certainly looks as if he'll be able to play. But who knows? You know, those things are flimsy. I'm pretty sure it'll be a game time decision, so you never know how things go. There's an issue with warming up, on game night. Who knows? So we probably won't know until the actual game kicks off whether he's available or not. Instead of I think we're gonna both pick the Cowboys to win this game, right? So I'll just ask, does that change in any way for you if we find out that we're getting Cooper Rush instead of Dak?
It makes me more nervous. I think if Cooper Rush does start, I think Minnesota would end up winning it. It's just hard to say, because Minnesota's a better team than what the record is, to be honest. They should have hit that field goal against Arizona for sure. So that right there puts them at 4-2. So I think, if no Dak, Minnesota would win because it's already a close game having Dak in the game, just because of just talent. And their coach likes to play old school, so just field position, running the ball, not playing around when it comes to like 4th and short, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it upsets the locals up there too. The way, but I get it. Mike Zimmer was with the Cowboys in the '90s, and it was just line them up and beat the guy across from you when he was here. So I get that, but no Dak. Minnesota would definitely get that win.
I think the only way that they would be able to do it is if those little mistakes that Mike McCarthy makes, he doesn't make. He can't make any mistakes. Has to be perfect. There can be no questionable decisions. I won't say mistakes. I'll take the word mistakes back. I'll just say questionable decisions. There can't be any questionable decisions by him. It's got to be perfect. For them to have a chance in that game. Mm-hmm. We talked about this last week, I think, before, how Kirk Cousins' record in primetime is not great. So there's always that chance as well. But there's been some discussion here about whether or not they should even play Dak in this game, even if he feels like he's ready to go, whether or not this one is worth the risk of making the injury worse. Do you just send him in this one and have him ready to go against Denver, or whatever the case may be? I feel like if he's available, he should play. It's just my opinion. Because of seeding, we talked about before. I think every game, to Bronx's point, there's only 17 of them, and with the records being as close as they are, that log jam at the top of the NFC, I think there's not really many games you can just take off, so to speak. And with us having a lighter schedule than a lot of those other teams, I think we need to take advantage of that. And so, it's hard to say, obviously, sure, the extra week of rest would be awesome if he could get it. But at the same time, it's like, maybe we look at it and say if there's a way to put this game away early, we can rest him. You know what I mean? Like we can put them away early enough to where he doesn't have to play the whole game. That would be awesome. But I think if he's available to play, he's got to play. This is not a week 17. We already got the division clinched type of situation. Like we got to be aggressive with this one. And I think Mark McCarthy knows that, so I don't think that option is going to be on the table. I think if he's available to play, I think he'll play. But to your point, certainly if it's Cooper Rush out there, that's a tough task. So we're both picking the Cowboys this one. I think there may be a little asterisk there, assuming that Rain Dakota Prescott is able to play. But I do think though, if he's not, that it won't be a blowout. Like, I think there's opportunity there because just as well the defense has been playing, there's a chance. But man, this defense had to play outside of Tampa. This defense had to play a team that's got wide receivers like Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen on that team. Like, it's gonna be tough because even if Trayvon says I'm taking Thielen or I'm taking Jefferson, you taking that if you take
Jefferson.
Yeah, so if you take Jefferson, for example, if I'm Minnesota, I like my chance with Adam Thielen going up against Anthony Brown. Regardless of how well he's played this year, that Adam Thielen's a route running machine, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's tough. That's tough. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I think there's a lot of people. I think the numbers have kind of dwindled down lately, but there was a lot of people who look at this game earlier and were like, "Oh, Dallas got it." It's like, "Oh,
simmer down there.
Relax.
Yeah.
I know they're 3-3, but like you said, their record doesn't really reflect how good of a team they are, how they've been playing. So it's a big good one for sure. So we'll see how that goes. Last game, who cares? But Monday night game, the 2-5 New York Giants visiting the 3-4 Kansas City Chiefs. I said this was a slam dunk earlier. Will kind of walk me back on it. I'm picking the Chiefs. I'm sure you are too.
I am.
But it's not as
like
cut and dry as
like I said in our pre-video meeting, only one of these teams has had a recent blowout within the past year and a half. It's true. I
mean, look, I don't know was it the Rams that went into New York and beat the brakes off them? Was it the Rams?
Yeah.
Okay. But man, like, listen, it ain't guaranteed. It ain't guaranteed. I will say this though: they lose to the Giants.
I think they'll win, but it won't be an easy one because that's where most of their wins have come from is NFC East teams, the bottom of the NFC East.
Yeah, and they have struggled against good teams and have beat bad teams. I do think it'll be interesting to see what happens because I think Patriots come out and say he was fine, but that hit he took was tough.
Yeah,
you got sandwiched between two guys basically, up top and down low. That was a tough hit. Not saying he won't be 100%. I'm not saying he won't play, but I certainly question if he'll be 100%. And if he's not 100%, does he kind of try and overcompensate a little bit and leave some balls up there? Say what we want about the Giants, their defense is not bad. Like, they have a good defense. So they're opportunistic and they can make some plays if the opportunities present themselves. So that offensive line for the Chiefs is not very good. Obviously, we've seen that. So I think there's enough on the Giants to make it close, but surely they're not going to lose to the Giants. So we'll see. We might have a different conversation next week if they do, though. I'll say that right. All right, guys, that is it for Week 8. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, we'll have a recap for the Minnesota game. We got some logistics to work out, but we're going to try and see if we can do it live. Don't marry us to that, but we'll certainly see if the opportunity presents itself to do it live after the game on Sunday night. If you don't see us on Sunday night, you will see us at the beginning of next week with a recap video of that game. And in addition to that, you'll also see our Week 9 results as well, hopefully. we'll see how this goes. We got some different picks this week, so it should be a tie because last week it was a tie. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but we tied last week, so I don't think we'll have a tie this week. So we'll see how it goes. It should be interesting. But that's it for us, guys. As always, as I mentioned before, like, share, subscribe, Los on Sports. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, for Will, I'm Jay, and we are out.